Guys, if you're a fan of the Sly Guy podcast, you got to get more out of your week. You gotta get more out of the podcast. You want to get your wee orange grinder juice maker. You want to take your wee orange, which is, I know, your phone or something, and you want to grind the orange juice, and it'll come out here, which is your phone, and this is subscribing to Patreon, and this juice is all the treats that are waiting for you on www.patreon.com/Sly Guy Podcast. You get the extra Sly Guy podcast on a Monday. You get a Dog Walks with Davey on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday, you get the early release episode of this podcast without any of this, because there's no ads on it. And then on Thursday, you get a wee day off. And then Friday, you get the guest episode, which every week is either me and a guest, or me and Psychic Glenn doing a psychic in the stand-up, or a fun vlog for you to look forward to. It's a treat. And in the weekend, you sometimes get wee bits and bobs, but usually take a weekend off. So it's all worth it. So if you want more content coming your way with guests, with silliness, with fun, head to patreon.com/Sly Guy Podcast. It wouldn't be an episode of Sly Guy Podcast if you weren't getting told about Modest Beer. Modest Beer are a delicious beer brewery company that make the most delicious yet modest beers. I could sit here all day and tell you how great Modest Beer are, but you probably are going to want more detail than my mind can give, because I'm not a beer connoisseur. What I know is if beer tastes nice, and Modest Beer tastes nice. But if you want to know a wee bit more, say you are a beer connoisseur and you're like, actually, Dave's knowledge doesn't satiate my need for knowledge, you can head to their website, www.modestbeer.co.uk, where you can see all the lines of beer that they have, all the merch that they have, and if that's not enough, you can subscribe to their newsletter and get info on Modest straight into your email inbox. If you don't want to check out their website, you're too lazy, you just want to follow them on socials, hit them up at Modest Beer. Guys, we're down to the very last couple of tickets for this Friday's gig in the Strand Arts Centre. That's right, it's me, Aaron Butler, Paddy McDonnell and Sean Hegarty all coming to East Belfast. It's bring your own. It's only 20 quid. There's only a handful of tickets left. Probably by now that I'm reading this out, it may be sold out, but hopefully if you want to really go, you'll go and get your tickets. I mean, if it is sold out, you miss out, but don't worry, you can get next time. There's plenty of fun events coming to the Strand. That's this Friday, I'm just looking for the date now, 24th of March at the Strand Arts Centre. I can't remember the dates because I'm self-employed and I don't know what day of the week it is, but it's Friday the 24th of March. Tickets are on sale, if there's any left, by the link in the description of this video. Speaking of events in the Strand Arts Centre, we are doing a live Sly Guy podcast in the Strand Arts Centre on Friday the 28th of April 2023. Now, this is the only live Sly Guy podcast that we are programming this year. There's no other plans at the minute for any other live podcast this year, and because it's going to be the only live Sly Guy podcast, it's going to be crazy. My guests are the Buttman, Aaron Butler, and the other one. I don't know what to call this guy other than Psychic Glenn, because that's his nickname. But Psychic Glenn and the Buttman are going head to head at the Strand Arts Centre with me on Friday the 28th of April. The tickets are already nearly sold out for this one. People are dying to get to this because it's going to be wild. We're going to film the night and put it on Patreon. Probably not going to be allowed to get broadcast because Butler's fucking bonkers, Glenn bonkers, both. It's just going to be an experience that you'll want to be there for on the night. There will be live stand-up performances as well with some special guests pop. It's going to be a treat. So if you want to get to it, get yourself to the link in the description of this video and be quick, because I'm sure it'll be sold out potentially by the time this is out. But if it hasn't, get on it, get quick. It's bring your own. It's 20 quid and it's a month away, so chop chop.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Sly Guy Podcast. Listen, my guest this week is one of my favourite guests to have. He's a friend of mine and he's a friend of yours, and the episodes are always great when he's on. It's Jordan Robinson. Now, you're probably going to say this episode is a little bit different than usual because it had to be cut slightly short. I had a bit of a bloody personal issue this morning, bit of a bloody nightmare, and we cut into our recording time a little bit, so unfortunately Jordan had to bounce before we do listeners' questions, but it's okay. I care about you guys, so I did them anyway. But this episode was a lot of fun. We enjoyed it thoroughly. We covered all different sort of topics. We chatted about my day from hell. We chatted a lot about books, which was interesting. We chatted about movies. We chatted about crying. And we also chatted about what a movie might look like if you sent a former Nazi war criminal to the Bayou in South Carolina. I mean, what else do you want of an episode, guys? It's this week's Sly Guy podcast with myself and Jordan Robinson. Jordan, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, Dave. How are you?
Thank you. You know what? I'm okay. I'm happy. You're here. I'm happy we're recording. It's going to be as much content as we can get squeezed in here because you have an appointment to go to.
I do.
And I am to blame for being late.
Hey, things happen.
Hey, but listen, I don't know if anyone's out there ever been in this situation, but this morning what happened, I got up. Now, as a lot of people know, I'm the housewife bitch guy, and I'm responsible for my kids. My wife's the breadwinner. She goes out to work early doors, and I just I'm in the house. And she went out this morning. I got up. Everything was good. I got up nice and early because I was seeing you. I got up, had a shower, had a shave, tidied myself up. In fact, is my hair sitting all right? Because sometimes I'll wear a hat and I'll come and do this podcast, and I'll look back and I'll look like a scruff, and I'm a bald scruff, and I hate it, so I have to keep my head up here. Anyway, we're missing the point. So everything was in order. I packed all the stuff. Now what I did notice, there was something a little bit queer about the day. Something wasn't quite right, a wee bit off. I looked out in the driveway, no car.
Okay, that's
My
an
car,
issue.
but it was on the street.
Okay.
Right? So I went to myself. Catherine said to move out the car to take the other car to work, but she hasn't put it back in, which it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I'll tell you why. Because I went to move the car into the driveway to pack all the like kids' stuff, all the baby's bag and the fucking school bags and all the coats and shit. Couldn't find my keys. I'm like, oh no, where are my keys? And if I hadn't have done that, turns out my keys were in the car in the street in the glove box.
Oh, okay.
So I just no keys at all for anything. I'm like, oh fuck, I have to do a school run. I have to leave Matilda to her nanny's shit. So I was like, right, I was about to freak out. I could feel the sweat just starting in my head. If I hadn't gone to move the car when I did, if I'd have just gone when we were to go out of the house, we'd have been late. Everything would have been fucked. But thankfully I did that. I rang my mother-in-law, who thank God was awake. She came to get me, and then we all hopped in the car. We went to leave the Holly to school, came back, went to the hospital, collected keys off Catherine, got to my house, and indeed my keys were in the glove box, and that was it. But it was very stressful this morning.
Praise Allah.
Praise Allah, praise the
All
Lord.
of them.
Praise
All
them
of
all.
them.
You know what? Praise them all.
Exactly.
And we are here, but it was very stressful. I could feel my heart rate rocketing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And now
See, I'm
feeling
terrified
better.
if, like, I'm doing my best to try and stay out of any stressful situations and stuff like that, just because, like, I don't think I could deal with heart palpitations at the minute.
Yeah. And what is your like capability of dealing with stress? How do you as a person deal with stressful scenarios?
I think I may take advantage of it a wee bit for the fact that because I have like heart problems and stuff like that, I'm just ruling myself out of any kind of physical exertion that I may not want to do.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're talking, I don't know, if I had to recruit, it's like they started like drafting people into the army, that's my exclusion.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? But apart from that, I kind of...
Yeah, that's fair. I also think now, like I was looking at this recently, I think I'm now too old to be inscripted.
What's the
good.
cutoff point?
I think 35, isn't it? Like 18 to 35?
Yeah, probably.
That's also
that
like
sounds right.
18 to 30 is that like sex holiday club, isn't it? Slightly different, you know, the 18 to 30s club where you go and-
Okay.
Yeah, like that's how I know I'm
I
old.
thought you were talking about like a recruitment drive that they were doing. I was like, wait a minute.
Hey, listen, you want to join a sex club? 18 to 30.
I haven't got my enlistment letters
Yeah.
yet.
But you know what? See, now in today's world, if you went to one of those 18 to 30 sex clubs, holidays, if you're 30, people would be like, problematic.
Oh, yeah.
That
yeah.
guy's a problem. But I remember being at an age where I was like, I want to go on those sex party holidays. And I must have been like 15 or 16, being like, I can't wait till I'm 18 to go on these. I mean, the prime age to go on one of those sex holiday parties is probably 24, isn't it? So you're bang in the middle.
Yeah, I would say about maybe 21, 22.
Yeah, but
You're
then
just,
that
like-
affects the 10-year rule, doesn't it?
Aye, true.
You know,
Aye,
so,
true.
But I think that now I'm like way too old for that. I'm 36 now.
I'm 30 next week.
Yeah, so you can still go. Get yourself signed up. Get yourself to Sitges, go on an 18 to 30 sex party and live your life.
I have literally a week today.
Nice.
My birthday's next week.
And how do you feel about that?
Very existential dread kind of creeping in. No, I'm all
Do you
right.
want
It's
to
just
know?
a
This
number,
is the most like paedophilic style question you can ask. But do you find the older you get, the younger you feel?
No, in fact, quite the opposite.
Right, okay.
I feel like just every function that my body does is slowly getting a little bit worse and stuff like that.
But I mean, like, mentally. You know what I mean? Because I remember thinking when I was 18, those 30-year-olds on these sex party holidays are old over the, like, what are they doing? They're over the, why are they coming to these parties? They're fucking geriatric. Whereas now, like, when I hit 30, I'm like, you know what? I'm more hopeful about what the future of life brings. Because I think once I thought for so long, when you hit 30, you're done.
Well, I don't know. I guess I haven't really thought too much about it because I don't want to start crying or anything like that. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm going like, right, this is, it's all downhill from here. I'm still optimistic about stuff.
And do you have any, like, I mean, I don't want this to be like, because normally,
Debbie Downer moment.
Because normally when we do podcasts together, it's a fun time. You know, like the last time we made fun of your dead dad. It was
that was great crack.
It was amazing fun. So now we're just talking about mortality once again. But is there anything, why people like they want to do, like, we challenges 30 by 30 and things like that? Is there anything you want to do? Or
the one thing that I was really happy with, like when I first started doing stand up, my first year, I was like, I want to do 52 gigs in 52 weeks.
Okay.
And I ended up doing like over 100.
Oh, you're cool.
Yeah, I know, right? So
that's a good achievement.
Yeah. I'm literally just trying to each year I come up with a bunch of like not bucket list things, like New Year's resolutions kind of things, and I'm just kind of trying to tick them off. So I'm just using that as kind of life goals. So
and how are you getting on with that list?
Not too bad. Yeah, I'm doing the Inter soon. Quite excited about that down in Dublin.
Intergender.
Yeah, the intergender gig.
Nice,
yeah. That should be good. Gigging over in England, Scotland, and Wales. That was on the list. And
nice.
Doing that. So I'm heading over to Manchester on Sunday. So that'll be fun. What else have I got? Read 32 books.
Okay.
And I'm like,
in a year?
In a year.
You son of a bitch. My goal's 12. I want to book a month. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm on course, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm slightly behind. I've only read like 6 books this year, so...
Nice.
But when I say books, they're like, breakfast, the novellas more than anything. Okay. So they're not like, reading Ulysses every time you sit down to read a book. Like,
nice.
No. So, but yeah, no, that's going good.
And do you set this every year? Or is it just
no? Since I pretty much a lot of them are stand up kind of related. So it kind of seems like that's the kind of driving factor between some of them, and then other ones are like, you know what, I do think I would benefit from reading a bit more, and socializing outside of stand up. So those are the kind of goals I've set.
Was my thing with the books was I wanted to read more because I feel it would get me in bed a bit earlier to read, and it would get my mind working a bit different. It would get me coming down to sleep better before bed. So that was my idea, and I've read 2 books already, and I'm on my 3rd now. So that's
nice.
March. I need to get it finished. But again, I worked hard on curating my list of books to try to cover bases that may improve me mentally and physically and creatively.
See, this is probably something I should have done. I just went on the banned book list, and like every book that was banned by like the US like school system or whatever, I was like, yeah, I'll read that. Oh, no. That sounds good. But it's all like fucking Catcher in the Rye, which in no way, shape, or form would be banned today.
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, the books I've read so far are the first one is a book by Vogler, and it's called The Hero's Journey or The Writer's Journey, but it's like that, and it's about
Thick Boy.
It's about like how to best develop characters and write for characters. So I thought that'll help me with my writing side of things. My second book, I thought coming off the back of that big thick boy, I needed something a wee bit lighter. So it was, of course, friend of the show Tom Smith's Fearless book, which was an experience in itself. I think I read it over the course of a day, and it was, and here's the thing, right? See, with like, I am very skeptical about self-help guys and this sort of thing.
I would be too,
but there are elements of it that, because here's the thing, right? You see someone come out and go, you could do better than this. I can give you life. Like the amount of times, like I don't know why guys are in videos, and this isn't Tom, but this is like a lot of other guys who are like, I can teach you how to be an entrepreneur. Your business can earn 6 figures. It's like, what's all this shit? All they basically do, in a nutshell, is say to people, you're being a bit too lazy.
Yeah.
And then people are like, fuck, maybe I should work. Maybe I should work a bit harder. If I work a bit harder and try a bit more, things might get easier. And then you work a bit harder and try a bit more, you get a bit more work and you're like, so there are elements of that. Now, the thing with Tom's book, there were some bits in it where I was like, right, you know what, maybe I'm lying in my bed, eating a fucking Belvedere bar, drinking a coffee. I could maybe put that down and go and hoover the house. You know, put a wash on, something productive. Again, I'm really in a position at the minute where I feel I can't work unless my like space is
Your environment's
clean.
Yeah.
You know, so I like it to be.
I get that.
Declutter, and then I find like, oh, it's wonderful. So as much as like people will be wanting me to say, oh, did you, you know, you got to take a piss out of Fearless and all, there were moments in it where you went, fuck's sake. But
Yeah.
I think I came out of it better.
A little bit more enriched.
And the third book I'm reading in a minute is How to Be a Great Stand-Up.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because I thought to myself, the ego in me is like, already am. But also went, you can always get better.
Exactly.
And
That's
is there ways to like cheat the system to improve my writing any, to like sharpen my jokes? And I think let's always try to learn. So then I'm taking a break and I'm going to read The Lumen Towers next, which is about why Al-Qaeda decided to do 9/11. So it's a variation of different
You're going from pole to
stories.
pole
Yeah.
with all these.
And I'm trying to think what other books to have in there that I'm looking forward to reading. Wim Hof's
Oh
book
yeah,
about-
the breathing guy,
Yeah.
the guy who breathes.
Yeah, the guy who I mean, here there's another guy. How do you can feel better in life by what? Breathing.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting in cold water and breathing. And why am I reading that? Because I hate cold water therapy. I hate sea swimming. I think it's all out of balls. But it's all about opening your mind.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna
Know the
see-
enemy.
Exactly. So I'm going to try to find that. And I'm going to see what things conduct electricity and water. So instead of just going vintage toaster, I can throw other things in to get them. And another book, my favourite book, I think I remember, and again, if you ever do this with movies, I've done it a few times, where you're like, I love that film, then you watch it again and you're like, oh no, why did I? So I want to read To Kill a Mockingbird again. It was one of my favourite childhood books, so it's in the list. So there's a few, so I'm hoping by coming out of 2023, I'll come out a more mindful, zen, rounded man.
That's the
Not
fun.
round, I need to lose weight, but I'm hoping to come out thinner, more rounded, less round. That's kind of...
Yeah, so I've started doing a book club podcast with Rachel
Nice.
McPeak called Bookline and Sinker, and
See
we're
you
there's so many like books and stuff like that I kind of want to read that don't fall into like the kind of fiction non-fiction thing like angle that we're going with the podcast with. So I've got like a couple on the go each time. And it genuinely does feel like juggling plates.
Yeah.
Or spinning plates.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Juggling pizza is
It's
also
a
a
completely,
difficult...
completely different thing. But
So, and do you find you have like the capacity to manage both, or does it get a bit difficult at times?
sometimes I get confused and like, you know, reading two books and getting like the like plots and stuff like that mixed up, going like, oh, was there not another? And then you just realize, and you're just...
Why is Harry Potter going to Mordor?
I was trying to think of other examples, but I don't know if the boy in the striped pajama was...
No, because you could just be like, the boy in the striped pajama and Schindler's List. Oh, it crosses over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fuck. But yeah, because I sometimes find you need to be in like the right headspace to read, because if you have a lot going on, like I definitely think my head is like a snow globe. You know, there's always fucking shit going on inside, and if I sit down to read and there's 100 other things I'm thinking of, I can never just focus on that.
I think I'm pretty good at just like blocking it out and just kind of putting my brain on standby while I'm reading, which probably isn't. I'm not really absorbing all the messages that are being translated in the book and stuff like that. But I find that, and like reading chills me out as well.
Yeah.
You know? I'm very, I don't know, chill. I like doing it while traveling and stuff like that, planes, trains, automobiles, all that kind of stuff.
Nice. See, I normally just stick to masturbation for traveling. That's kind of my way to relax. You know, planes, trains, automobiles, just go for it. But listen, whatever floats your boat.
Exactly right.
Yeah, and anally as well is the way. That's
What's
why
this?
I masturbate anally.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
But-
Hey, if it works for you, it works for you.
But no, reading's I definitely think it's a beneficial thing. Now, this is not just in preparation for this podcast. Imagine I was like, and I knew you were coming in as a learned man who is very literate and enjoys to read. I went to the Carnegie Library in Bangor yesterday, which is true.
How do you get there?
I just walked. But we went to Rhythm and Rhyme with Matilda first of all, and then it's annoying because afterwards Catherine was like, it's a great library, look at all these floors and all these books, and I was like, whoa, look at all these books. Literally it's about, I'd say about a 15-minute walk from my house, and I was like, can you come in here, how much does it cost to join? She's like, it's free. I'm like, what? And I can just come in, I can bring my and I can just come here and work, and I have this resource right in my door. I'm like, I'm way there a lot more. It's probably 10 minutes from the house. I'm just thinking about the back door if you go that way. But it's great, and I think libraries are a resource that we need to get more into. I think I don't know if you know this about me, but I was an ambassador for Book Week.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, 2022 Book Week ambassador. Thank you. By the way, BBC, you owe me a lapel pin. You've promised my daughter it and still haven't delivered. It's the only thing I've let her down with. But I felt like whenever you're doing that, you have to kind of, take a wee dose of your own medicine and read a bit more and be more literate. Because that's the thing too. I think books are great for learning, and I think nowadays, but you know what I mean. But nowadays, everybody, hold on, it sounds stupid, but let me reel it back in. Nowadays, people just go straight to Google, and all the answers are Google.
Very true.
Whereas I think, like, from reading, it definitely calms me down, because I am a psycho. Like, I have such a long fuse when it comes to kids. Certain things like will annoy me more, but when it goes, I just, I'm like, yeah, you do whatever you want, and I go in the room and be like, I'm gonna kill myself. I think I might just kill myself. But I definitely find reading helps you relax.
I find the information that you read lasts longer. It almost gets like hardwired into your brain, whereas if you read something on like a screen or your phone or something like that, it's in 1 second out the other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No, I agree. And I definitely think that nowadays with the fucking AI and all that shit and all the Terminator stuff and the fucking metaverse, we need to go back to the old school.
Very true. Are you a Kindle guy or are you like physical book?
I'm a physical book man. I like a physical book to the point that I've actually had disagreements with Catherine about it, because I'll buy, like, if I want a book, I'll just buy it and it'll appear and I'll just have it there. And she's like, why have you all these books you don't read? And that was a lot of last year. She's like, why have you all these books you don't read? And I was like, because I want to read them, but I just don't. Whereas now, like before, to relax, I'd have played a bit of FIFA.
Oh yeah,
and it would be nice. But then I started thinking, as nice as that is, and some of this football is very intricate, some of these plays are, elite, I do feel that once it's done, it's done. And then I go up and then I'm scrolling on my phone, and then I'm not getting to sleep till after midnight or something. So now I go up maybe at about 10 o'clock with my book. It's nice. I mean, it definitely is not a rock and roll song, guys. This is it. You go upstairs with my wee book, 10 o'clock, wee Ovaltine,
wee chamomile.
Yeah, wee totes on my feet, bed, But I think there's so much shit to do during the day now that I need to be rested for. And when I'm tired, I'm difficult.
Oh yeah. Are you a morning guy? You strike me as a morning guy.
I'm a morning guy.
Yeah.
Are you?
Oh God, no.
No, because you're the late night guy, aren't you?
Oh, I'm very late night guy. Night owl.
What is it, like night owl? Okay, I was trying to think of what they were called. I nearly called you a night's watchman. I was like, what are they? You're a night's watchman? Yes, I am. No, a night owl.
I'm a dusk flamingo.
Yeah, it does. So, is this early for you now to be here?
No, it's so I would kind of like normally now get up at wake up at about 7:30, 8:30,
nice.
Something like that. But I won't get out of bed until maybe 10 or 11.
Right. Okay. What do you do there? Computer, books,
check socials, all that kind of stuff. Procrastinate, masturbate, all the baits.
Yeah, nice.
So
Norman baits, just.
But then I get up and have something to eat, and then I decide what I'm going to do with the day.
Nice. So, right, what we'll do, because a lot of people have asked this, and again, I don't know why people want to know, but we'll give it them. Talk me through what. No, there's a difference, because I've had this question before. Talk me through a daily routine, or talk me through what would be a dream day. So you talk me through what your sort of regular day looks like, and then talk me through what a great day for Jordan Robinson.
Regular day is wake up. I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I'm a bath guy. So I take a lot of bath. I take about 2 baths a day.
I love that. Now, see, when you bath, are you a simple bath man, or are you?
I'm extravagance.
Right. Okay.
I am every form of Radox that I have. It's kind of like when you bring kids to like Nando's and stuff like that, and they like mix all the different drinks. I do that with bubble baths.
Okay. Like, do you do it in the bath, or do you have like a pestle?
No, a pestle and mortar.
Creating your own bubble bath.
No. I just mix them all up in the bath, and I have this like kind of setup where I have like this kind of like floating desk type thing. Nice. That I just stick my laptop on, and
in the bath. It's not plugged in, is it?
No, it's not plugged in, and it's. I would be, say I was in the bath right now, and like the far side of the table is where the laptop is, so it's not close to the water, but I can still watch stuff and stuff like that on like Netflix and stuff like that. And that's my brother has Sky, so I use his Sky Go thing, watch all the like Bundesliga highlights and stuff like that. And
it's beautiful. Is that to start the day?
That's how I start my day.
Right, okay.
And then have something to eat, and then
what's a normal breakfast look like for JR?
it's not healthy.
Listen.
It's probably not. No, I would probably say it would be more lunch than breakfast, just because of the time that I normally have it. But just whatever's in the fridge, whether it be we get those half roast chicken things from Marxies,
yes,
and like dissect them, make them a wee sandwich and stuff like that.
Are you home at the minute? Or are you?
I'm at my mum's house at the minute.
Nice.
So and then just get ready to go to whatever gig that I've got.
Nice. And what's the preparation? So we've got you through to, you've had your lunch. What time are we talking now?
Yeah, maybe like 2 or 3.
Right. So then, if you have a gig, say you're leaving the house, what time would you roughly leave at to go to the gig?
Well, about maybe 6, half 6.
Right. So what are you
like
doing
a normal gig in Belfast?
What does prep for the gig look like?
Get a shower and.
Do you moisturize?
No.
Well, you should, because
I have real soft skin.
But
like,
the amount,
not...
can you imagine how soft it could be? If you float in a bath all morning and then you shower, you're just taking away all the natural moisture, mate.
And what's even worse is like when I get home from a gig, I also have another bath.
Wow, I went to relax down.
Well, yeah, I guess to decompress from the day.
Nice, and then so the gig. Say the gig goes well. You come home, nice relaxing bath. What time are we getting in the bath at? Does this count
11,
all hours?
half 11.
So what if you're home late from a gig? You still get the bath if it's like midnight?
It can be. Like I was doing on St. Patrick's Day, I was gigging in Wexford. And when I came home, it was about 3:30. I got a bath at 3:30.
And then what time did you go to bed? 5?
Yeah, like quarter 2, something like that.
But is your mum not like, would you keep a fucking noise down?
Our house is good because it has like such thick walls and stuff like that. Like you can do stuff in one room and nobody knows anything about it.
Alright, H.H. Holmes. Listen,
I really do appreciate that reference.
Our room's so thick you can do anything, you know. And then this wee shoot that I can just, stand it.
Oh fuck yeah.
But no, if I come in from a gig, I'm like super silent boy. Like it's like that. What's that movie called? It's like about super silence, where if you make a noise, the monsters get you.
Quiet Place.
Yeah,
Quiet Place.
That's like when I come in from the gig. Now, and the bright side is Vinny doesn't give a fuck. Like so.
Yeah, Rudy's the same.
But the problem is I need to talk about dogs later too. Remind me. But he, Catherine will sometimes be like, he likes to just come upstairs with me when I'm going to bed and stuff, and he'll be up there just lying in the hallway. But then I get in the gig, I have to be like, Vinny, get down the fucking bed. Don't want to wake the girls because it's a domino effect. If one of them, they all wake, so it's carnage. So what I would tend to do is come in, and I've got into the habit of going over my set when I get in now.
Oh yeah.
So
So do you record like audio record it and then go over it, or
sometimes no? But it's like I have started doing a thing this year where I write down every gig I do and what set I did. So like obviously you have a wee notebook that I write in and do other stuff, but I actually write the bits I do in each set. So if I'm doing a Lavery's, I can look back last time, don't want to do the exact same set, you know what I mean? Try to add new bits in that way. So I'm being a bit more meticulous with that, and then I find like I'm better at admin and stuff when I come in, and so I do the stuff that I'll not get time to do during the day at night. Even if it's emails, I'll get them written and draft, so in the morning just go boom boom boom, that sort of stuff. But yeah, I couldn't shower or anything when I got in from the gig because it would just be through the noise.
Oh, the noise, yeah. That's
because Matilda's next door to the bathroom, so it would just be, if she wakes, she's the one you don't want to wake. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So and now, what's and that, I mean, that sounds hard to beat.
Yeah, it's quite good. Like it doesn't have much variation from that either.
But what would be a wonder day? Like even gigs, like what sort of, would it be a solo show you'd be wanting to do, or would it be like a spot somewhere, or what would be?
I mean, like I love traveling for gigs and stuff like that. So I like, and this is really weird, but I like the shittier the hotel, the more I enjoy the trip.
Right. Okay.
At least that's the way it has been recently, like, because like the Britannia, like they're notoriously pretty shitty hotels and stuff like that. They're extremely cheap, and that's the reason.
Whereabouts was the last Britannia you stayed in?
Liverpool.
Right, okay.
It was when I was doing hot water, and went over did the gig, went fantastic, had a great time, got Taco Bell, which was great because they don't have them here, and
Because of DUP.
yeah, exactly. Fucking, was that part of the Windsor framework or whatever? They were talking
No,
about?
because they disagreed with it. So you see, that was part of it's a Good Friday agreement. They're like, well, there will be no Taco Bell in Ulster. Taco is, of course, Gaelic for cake, and I'm not having it. Refuse to accept it in Ulster.
But yeah, what were we talking about? Liverpool, Britannia. Oh yeah, okay. So when I went up to the bed, it was like the room was way too big for one person, and I'm like, this could surely be split into 2 rooms.
Yeah.
But it was big old double bed. So I come back in from getting food and having the gig and stuff like that. I come back in and one side of the bed is like pristine, like it's immaculate, and the other half looks like they just dragged it out of the alley. It is so weird.
Yeah.
It was so weird. And it wasn't one big mattress.
Was it not clean?
So half of it was.
Yeah.
And the other half was just disgusting. But you see, it wasn't just one mattress. So it was a double bed, like, base.
Yeah.
But then they put 2 single mattresses together.
Right, okay.
And like it was almost like it was seeping through from one mattress onto the like bed sheets. And like there were stains on it, and I was
Did you
just
phone
like,
the reception and be like, "What the fuck?"
I mean, like it was at like 11:30. I'm just about to go in for my bath.
Yeah.
You know, I can't.
Oh no,
I can't be upsetting the apple cart
I
like
would
that.
be straight on the phone to him. Excuse me. Like I said before, because I'm a mixed marriage. I'm a half a Jaffa guy like yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, technically. Well, my
Quarter.
my prod comes out of me.
Oh, yeah?
I go, this is an absolute bloody disgrace. Get up here and fix these sleeping arrangements immediately. You know, the other side of me would be like, nah, fuck it, we'll sleep in our own, whatever. But me, I was like, no, fix, I wouldn't have it. I actually, and you'll move me to the bloody presidential suite too. But I can have it. Like hotels stress me out if they're not clean.
Oh, yeah?
Even dust. I went to a fancy hotel and there was dust, and I phoned the reception and said, "Can you set me up a duster?" And they sent me a foreign person with a cloth, and I meant, no, I would dust it. It's just this person's role. Are they the duster?
Yeah.
They were like, "You know, to clean the dusty room," and I went. And then they just walked past me, and I, oh no! And then this woman just started dusting the room for me, and I felt kind of embarrassed, but also kind of powerful. I was like, "It's good.
That's
good.
the mixture you're looking for.
That's what I want.
Embarrassment and power.
Yeah, that's what I want." But that was it. So you did hot water. How'd that go?
It was good. It was a wee while ago now.
Were any of the guys on? Any of the like well-known hot water boys?
Yeah, was it Phil Chapman?
I don't know.
Yeah. Apparently not then.
Yeah, no.
He was emceeing. He was a nice guy. He's a sound bloke. I'm doing Frog and Bucket on Monday.
Nice.
Doing Beat the Frog. Should be fun.
Nice.
3rd time doing it. If I don't win it this time, never going back to Manchester.
No. Well, fair play to you, because that's something on my list of things I want to do more is gig across on the mainland. You know,
I've got like two gigs on the Monday and one on the Sunday, and the Beat the Frog one is like, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like a competition where it's like a gong show.
Yeah.
So
I would amend those and not call them gong shows. I would say a dong show, and I'd say you just literally stand up. And, that's just me.
So I'm gonna have to do the, because I'm first on there. Do that, and if I make it through to the the clap off at the end, I have to go to the other gig and then come back. So I'll be feeling very showbiz, running between gigs.
You need to get a rickshaw. You need to get a guy in a rickshaw to take you between. That's the most stand-up thing to do, on a rickshaw, bish bash bosh.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think that's a thing that, like, as a stand-up, it's in you. It's like the more gigs you do in a night, the better.
Oh yeah. Oh, that would probably be my perfect day when you've got like 3 different gigs in one night. I love that.
And where's your favourite place to gig?
Ever?
Like if you were to be like, right, this is the place I would like to gig every day. Like if you were to move this city, stay in Belfast, go, where would your place be? Like, that's where I want to go.
I like Dublin, but I don't think I would live there. I know. I like gigging in Dublin. I like some of the people that I've gigged with in Dublin.
Anyone you want to give a shout out to in the show?
All of them. You know who yous are. I don't know if they do.
What about E-Man and the Masters of the Universe?
Oh, I was actually gigging with him on Wednesday there.
He was the last Dublin comedian I gigged with. He was up at Lavery. It was good fun to see him.
Yeah. A couple.
And an Arsenal fan too. Big shout out to E-Man.
We haven't even got to this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you'll win the league? I am getting a little less skeptical every time.
I think you guys are gonna fuck us. I think we're playing West Ham 2 games time.
Yeah.
At the Olympic Stadion or whatever fucking Nazi
in
shite
Berlin.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm nervous every game, but I think there's a chance.
Oh yeah. I was sad when you guys got put out in.
I was sad too because you were actually there. At
yeah, I was in Lavery's then.
I actually thought whenever I said listeners going to penalty, I thought you would have come down. On me,
I was going to, but then
I just left me there by myself to be heartbroken.
I was like, I didn't want me to see you cry. Yeah, that's the thing.
No, it's okay. No, the bright side is I didn't cry.
Oh, good.
Then.
Oh.
But I don't know. Do you cry ever?
Sometimes I've been known to be in touch with my emotions.
Yeah, and what are sort of trigger points for you making you cry?
Animals dying in movies.
Mm-hmm. Not a big fan of Marley and Me then.
Oh God, no.
No.
God, no. It is genuine heartbreak. What was I watching the other day? And I was like, why am I crying at this? I think it was an ad for something. It was like. It's like a dad taking his son to like football practice or something like that. I'm like, why are there tears coming from my eyes? Like, I don't get it. Like,
I had a cry. I have not cried. I can remember the last time I cried, but I had a big cry Monday night. Like a big cry that I'd actually. Because do you ever cry initially in front of somebody and be like, I'm just going to nip away here for a second, and then you're by yourself, you're bawling your eyes out. That happened to me on Monday night, and we were watching The Walking Dead, and. Like you've watched some of it, haven't you?
I've watched like the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, because I'd said to you before, listen, I'm obsessed with it. Now, were you at the prison?
No.
In it? No. Right. Well, basically, this is a spoiler alert for any Walking Dead fans. If you don't want to know what happens in season 4 of The Walking Dead, please skip forward this next potentially 25 minutes of talking. But we were watching it, right? And you know, it's a group. Do you know Carol? She was the wife. Who got beaten by her husband. She's obviously her arc is she's developed into being a stronger character and whatever else. But there was a couple of they ended up living in a prison for a while. It was quite safe and blah blah. Like overrun by the governor. Did you meet him? Woodbury, nasty bastard. Him.
Is that the guy that was played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
No, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's Negan.
Ah, yes.
The guy that played is what's he called? He's a British guy. I'll remember his name later. Morrissey, not. David Morrissey, not.
I was going to say.
I nearly said Neil Morrissey there. Either Morrissey, Neil Morrissey. They're not the right Morrissey. David Morrissey.
No,
yeah.
I don't know.
You know him to see him because he's one of these guys that's like, I'm into it now. Sorry, you've got me started. Fuck, I told you in advance. Don't get me started. But we're going. But David Morrissey, you know him to see him. David Morrissey. I mean, why is the first picture of him looking ancient? You know, that's David Morrissey there.
Yeah.
So David Morrissey's governor, piece of shit, right? And so then you met a few other characters, and there are these couple of girls and kids. So in Carl, Rick's son, and all was there, and there were these kids. A little girl called Lizzie, and her younger sister called Mika, who happens to be one of my favorite naughty singers as well. But we'll ignore that. So they ended up basically their parents got this virus and died. It wasn't a zombie virus; it was some other like virus that caused. Like a swine flu, and then they died and turned into zombies, blah, blah, blah. So their parents died, and the 2 girls didn't really understand. Like, the older one was like, you know, not really too sure about the zombies. So then Carol and Tyrese took the 2 girls and the baby Judith, and they were the ones leaving, basically. And so Carol and Tyrese were looking after 2 girls. Obviously, Carol's daughter, would have seen her die on the farm. And so she kind of adopted these 2 girls and cared for them like her own. And the older girl was going a wee bit mad. Like she was like feeding the zombies like rats and stuff and mice, thinking they were like pets. So it's an innocence to her. She wasn't afraid. She's like, they're like pets. And then Carol saw her playing chases with this young girl zombie, and like was like, if she catches you, she's gonna kill you. She just couldn't compute it. She's like, no, they're good. They are good. We can whatever. So you know, with The Walking Dead, you get lured into false sense of security. You're like, everything's rosy in the garden, and then it hits you with something. You're like, why have you done this? Why? So Therese and Carol went out with Judith to forage some stuff in this week because they were all settled in a wee camp for a while, and just left Lizzie and Mika to themselves up at the hut. And then she came back, and you could see Lizzie with blood all over her hands, being like, "It's okay, she'll come back. I'll prove you. She'll come back." She had murdered her sister. Murdered her little baby sister, who's like 4 or 5, and was like, "But don't worry, she'll come back as herself. I'll show you." Like, all innocently, "I'll show you. It's just not, she'll come back as herself." And they were like, "No, she won't." And obviously they were heartbroken. Yeah. Then Carol was like, "What do we do with Lizzie? Is she a risk? Is she a deal?" Yeah. So she was like, "I need to talk to you, Lizzie." So she's like, "Come on, Lizzie, out to and they walked out this wee flower garden.
Oh no.
And she was like, "Come on, Lizzie, let's sit and talk." She was like, she'll come back, it's fine, she'll come back." She's like, "No, Lizzie, she won't." And she's like, "Are you crossing me?" She was like, No, Lizzie, I'm not crossing you." She's like, "I know, I just feel like you're crossing me." And she's like, "No, I'm not crossing you." And she was, "Lizzie, just look at the flowers."
No.
He's like, "Lizzie, look at the flowers, Lizzie." And Lizzie was looking at these flowers. Lizzie, and she's like, "I don't know, Lizzie, just look at the flowers." And she shot Lizzie in the back of the head.
Oh.
And I just saw those two girls being like my girls.
Oh no.
So see, whenever she was saying, "Lizzie, look at the flowers," I was like, "No, don't do it, please, Carol, no, don't." And then she killed her, and I could just feel the tears going down my face, being like, whew. And I said, "Catherine, I'm going upstairs to read my book." And I went upstairs, and I went into both my girls, and I just lifted them both, like, "I love you so much." And then just went to the bed, and I cried, and I cried, and cried, until I was like, "Oh, that's a bit dramatic."
And then you start the next episode.
Yeah, and then, no, but I actually skipped the next episode. I said, "I'm not ready for it, I can't go on." Then Catherine came up to me and was like, "It's okay, Maggie found Glenn." And I was like, oh, "Okay." And I went to watch it again. Now I just hope, because they do some flashback scenes and stuff, I just hope Lizzie and Mika don't appear again in flashback scenes, because I'll cry again.
Yeah, that's PTSD.
They look like my daughters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're a bit older, so if you moved Holly forward 3 years and Matilda forward 3 years, it'd be them too. And they look similar too, and it was just like, oh no. So I just hated it, and that was the most I've ever cried at anything. Yeah. And before that, I was trying to think of anything that made me that upset before, and I can't think of anything that was that level of.
I like ugly, like, the kind of like the crying that you're trying to catch your breath up.
Yeah.
During Jojo Rabbit. Have you ever seen Jojo Rabbit?
The shoes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was sad too. It's the relationship between parents and kids just get me. Yeah. On either way, like that was. Because Jojo Rabbit was so silly and like lighthearted to a point, even though it was based during the Second World War. True. But that
it's actually a great book called Caging Skies that it's based on.
Like caging? Or Cajun?
Caging.
Alright, okay. It's going to be like just a load of shrimp and a big gumbo. Like hey-yo-ho!
That's what happens when Nazis go to Louisiana.
Why is that not being made? Dietmar has to relocate to the bayou.
Yeah, if they just didn't send everybody on like the rat trails to like Buenos Aires and like Brazil and stuff like that, and just send them to the bayou.
You know what? That would be fucking hilarious. I think you could make that into funny
Call it
film.
The Boys from the Bayou.
There you go. Yeah. Well, excuse me, can I please build this log pile house beside this alligator? Would it be safe? What is your name? My name is Merle. Nice to meet you.
Guten Abend.
Yeah, good Abend. Whereabouts are you from, Merle? He's like, well, I'm just from North Carolina. If you decided to move down here to be closer to the rivers.
Go Panthers.
Oh, no, sorry. Excuse me, old habits die hard, don't say.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Oh, no. That would be a lot of fun, but that got me. That got me a lot. And I felt like it's weird because, like, you again, this is something I don't think I've spoken about. It's probably maybe not a thing, but you're a big film guy. Mm-hmm. Is there anything like, because I find like this is a weird thing for me. I love doing stand-up. Yeah. Especially at the minute because I'm enjoying it. But I think the thing I like the most about is the creative side of things. I like to come up with ideas. I like to develop ideas. That works with stand-up. That works with other things. Mm-hmm. So for you, as somebody that's loves doing stand-up, you're a massive cinephile too. Like you love cinema. Have you ever been tempted to like come up with a script or develop any ideas that sort of way?
So that's what I did through college and university, is creative media and production, and we had a screenwriting aspect to the course, and I wrote a kind of script for a short film that we ended up having to make for our final piece, and I have never been so embarrassed in my whole entire life because mine was picked in front of the class when they were going through the treatment stage of it, and it got torn apart. And like I tried to make it funny, and it just got torn apart by the teacher and the rest of the class. And I was like, from that point on, I have no confidence whatsoever writing anything in terms of like, I've done a little bit of sketch work since, but like to have this kind of like I don't know, independent thing that isn't stand up to be out there, I just get so nervous about it. And
But
stuff
you know
like that.
what? But if you could get past that, would it be something you'd be interested in?
Potentially. I haven't really thought about it too much, and then I also think that you know, when you hear about like authors that are on set when their stuff is like the book adaptation of the movie has been filmed, I would be like oh no, that's not true to the character, so that's not going in.
Well, that
I would be a lot like that.
Like I found that a bit. The only thing that I've been outside of sketches, the only thing that I've maybe had to have written that's gone in someone else's hands was William of Orangedale. So obviously when I wrote that, it was like, I see this character doing this, I see it doing that. Obviously, you give it over to the director; they have their take on things. Some bits, I was like, you know, I need to trust what they're doing with it, which of course you do, and I think Owen was great. But there were some wee bits I'm like, no, I like things. I find my sense of humor. I like stuff to be very much true to life and be like, it'd be funny because. Whereas there was a couple of wee bits in it that I was like, no, it wouldn't be as theatrical as that. You know, the joke is the fact that they're saying something quite like nonsensical in a very straight deadpan way, you know, and they'd be like, you know, and some things like that I found it, you know, quite hard to sit there to be like, no, but trust the process. You know, trust the process. But
I would probably find that really difficult as well. Like.
Yeah, but no, it's fun, and I think like for me, I just think writing is the most fun element. Like working through an idea and seeing it come to life, to me, is the most rewarding, whether that be through a stand-up process or a writing process. And I read something recently that was like, the most successful people aren't the best always, they're the ones that don't quit. And I think like my experience of like, I'll take an example. I'd written a script that I think 2015 I had come up with the first draft of this, and I sent it to the BBC writers room, and I got told no, we don't like it. And I went, well, you're wrong. And I kept at it, and I was like, no, I can figure this out. Because if you know an idea is, you know, if you know your idea is good, you just haven't maybe presented it as it should, keep at it. And then I've ended up, it's now with a really good production company, and it's going to go further than it ever would have gone with the writers room. So it's like, there you go, keep going. And I think, like, you know, if that was ever something you were interested in doing, or like, I mean, I now think we should write about a Nazi that went to the Bayou. Like, that'd be a lot of fun. You know? That's
the only thing I've been. It's it's like, you know, the wee monkey with the symbols in there. As my brain, that's all it's thinking about right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Let's name some camps. Nazi, obviously you've Auschwitz, you've Treblinka, Birkenau,
Dachau,
Bayou. There you go, that's what it's called. Dachau at the Bayou. There you go, Bayou, I don't know.
Is there like a traditional German? Yeah, I would say North and South Dakota.
Yeah.
They would be like the traditional German kind of towns in America.
Yeah.
With Bismarck and stuff like that.
There you go. So
I'm just thinking of tie-in for sequels.
Yeah. more Deutsch and Bismarck. Yeah. So that's it. I would actually love to keep you for longer, but again, it's 11:05 and you have to get somewhere. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to let you go. We'll get you back again because there's so much more I want to talk about.
There we go. I'll be back in anytime you want.
Perfect. But so, listen, is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to let people out? Your
couple
socials?
Of podcasts. Yeah, a couple of podcasts. I do Book, Line and Sinker with another comedian called Rachel McPeak, where it's like a comedian's book club, which is pretty fun to do.
Do you do guests?
We don't at the minute. We might.
There's an avid reader here. Come on, talk to you about Fearless by Tom Smith anytime. Bingo.
And I also do Injury Time with Darren Matthews. He's back from the States now, so we'll be recording again the next week. And we're closing in on 50 episodes.
And what's the deal with Injury Time? Because it's a podcast I always liked. And again, my criticism was you stop doing it. Never stop.
Back at it.
Are you looking to, is it audio now? Are you trying to, what's the goals with that?
At the minute, it's just still audio.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of sports-based podcast where we talk about loads of different kind of sporting stories that you may have heard in passing, but then you get like the full kind of like deep dive and stuff like that with Injury Time. Yeah.
Well, nice, Jordan. Thank you very much for coming on. Now, what we would do, we've been asked a lot of questions this week. Unfortunately, don't have time to answer them. So I will answer them myself in the next part of the podcast, so we go the length that people want. So, Jordan, thank you very much, and we'll get you back soon.
Awesome.
It's been a pleasure. Cheers.
Cheers, dude.
Wasn't that a fun episode? Jordan, again, he's a great guest. And as Jordan said himself, you can check out his podcast, the Book, Line and Sinker podcast that he does with Rachel McPeak, or the Injury Time podcast that he does with Daz Maz, a.k.a. Darren Matthews. He's never been called that before. I don't think he'll like it. But hey, who cares? And now guess what, guys? Because Jordan had to bounce due to my own error, what I'm doing now is I'm going to answer your questions myself personally, you know, on a one-to-one level, just me and you guys having a lot of fun, okay? First question is from Dean. What was your sweet shop munch back in the good old days, Dave, when a penny sweet was a penny? You know what? That's hard. Like, I'm always a bit... You know by now I'm a big Pick a Mix fan. I love a Pick a Mix. Back in the day, I would have got a wee bag of cola cubes from Heron's in Hollywood. That would have been my go-to snack. I liked to get the cola cubes from Heron's. I also liked to get chocolate pretzel flips, which back in the day were a relatively new invention. I'm looking for water of a dry mouth. But yeah, I really enjoyed the cola cubes from Heron's, which is no longer. Heron's is actually, I think, a charity shop now. But big shout out to Ed Heron and the crew. That was a smashing newsagents back in the day, and provided you with all your newsagent needs. You could go in there to buy your magazines. You wouldn't buy Nuts or Zoo in there because you gone in there as a kid and you don't want to be seen as a pervert. But you'd have bought like Match. You know, you'd have bought your football magazines in there. You'd have got your wee annuals, your wee football sticker magazines. You got your football stickers in there. You'd have got your sweets. You got your wee bottles of juice as well. Heron's, what a spot that was. But I mean, if you want to know what I get in a Pick a Mix, I think that's the main crux of this question, is you want to know what's in Davy's Pick a Mix. The most important are the wee eggs. You get the wee Cadbury's eggs. They're the best. They go in first because you like the finish in chocolate. I find a Pick a Mix, you like the chocolate at the bottom, and then you got to stick some... You got the strawberries and cherries. I like the wee cherries. I don't like actual real cherries, but I like a cherry sweet. So you pop them in then too. Now 1 or 2 strawberries. Cola bottles have to go in. Now, a wee life hack. I give you a life hack about coffees, which by the way I did this morning. I put a large coffee into a regular cup and I got away with it. What you going to do? My other hack with Pick a Mix is, if you can't, you know the big cola bottles, they are delicious. They're nicer than the small cola bottles, and you want to take probably 2 of them, but there's no room to put it in the cup, so you have to just be entrepreneurial with that and just shove them in your pockets. The same with the big snakes. They don't fit in, so you just slide them into your gilet. Say nothing. Go for that. Then next you're going to put in some... You get the wee orange cola bottles that taste like wee Lucozade things. They're nice. Pop them in. You know, again, this is the downside. This is not for me either. Put some of those fucking chocolate mice in, or the wee white chocolate discs, because your wife wants them. You have to bring them home. Can you get me that? Yeah, sure, whatever. Then you stick in some of the wee eggs. You know, wee fried eggs. Pop them in, and then as well in Pick a Mix, you'll get the odd random one that you'd be like, "Was this only here for a limited period only? What is this? McDonald's?" So then you pop in like a couple of wee pieces of watermelon slices, because you get that watermelon sugar high, very Harry Styles, and then when you're at the end, you're like, right, it's back to that old Maz equation, you know, the teacher did. It's about like your happiness. He fills a wee jar full of golf balls and goes, "Are you happy?" And you're like, is this thing full? And you go, "Aye." And then next thing he goes, "Nah." Put some pebbles in, fills in, "Is this full?" And they go, "Aye." And he goes, "Nah." Put some sand in and it's full. So you need to fill in the rest of the Pick a Mix. You take a wee chocolate raisins, bish bash bosh. Then what you do as well, you go back for a big Coke bottle or a big snake, and you put it into, you need the wee pencil things too, pop them in there, and then you hold it on the top and you walk out with that. So that's my sweet shop munch. I'm a big fan of Pick a Mix, not a big fan of the word munch. Jack Reardon has said, "Hey Papa Bear, my girlfriend recently told me that she would never move to Bangor City. What do I do? End the relationship, or will Bangor eventually win her over? I need the King of North Down's help in this troubling situation." Well, I'll tell you this, Jack. My first move would be DMP. My second move would be give her a limit. Trust in Bangor City. Trust it being the best city in the whole world. And what I would do is say, "Listen, we'll move here for a bit. If it doesn't work out, you don't like it, we'll move somewhere else. You won't have to." Because my wife didn't want to live in Bangor whenever we first moved here. She was like, "I'm Belfast. I always want to be Belfast." And now she wouldn't live anywhere else because she fell in love with Bangor City. and I'm sure your girlfriend would fall in love with Bangor City too. So all you need to do is just show her what Bangor's about, let her learn how great a place it is, and I'm sure in no time she'll be settled. Or if she's not returning, you just got to dump her. Sounds like she's a bit of a, bitch anyway. Naomi has said, we've had the boxing and there's been rumours of stars in her eyes, but what if you could come up with a comedians event, what would it be? I don't know, gangbang probably. Just get everyone in for just a big comedians gangbang. Feeling that, of course, would be wrestling. You know what I mean? That would be my move. I feel like a wrestling event would lead itself well into the comedians. I think that would be a lot of fun, and the house is falling down. John Joe has said, biggest current comedic influences for both you two sexy bastards. That's a hard one. I don't have any influences really anymore. I'm just my own influence, brother. No, I don't know. I like to see people. I mean, for me, and I know like the last stand-up special wasn't my favorite, but obviously Ricky Gervais is my guy in terms of the career path. Like I like what he's written. I like his TV stuff, and he's do stand-up when he wants. So I mean, that's goals really. But I don't know. I don't know what I would say would be my. I don't know. So that's a hard one. I need to sit and think about it. Because again, you just have to work on your own shit, really, don't you? And that's kind of where we are at the minute. Dominic's come in with a couple of questions, and I appreciate this because I put one call for questions up. It's lost in the ether. I had to put another one up. So I'll read you both out, Dominic, and then we'll just get on with our days here because Jordan's away. So sad. Dominic said, what's your favourite pizza for when you come and play Giuseppe's gig in Ards? Have you had manna from Bangor also? Some feed from there. Now, I just want to point this out. Manna Pizza in Bangor is the best pizza I think going at the minute. Now, a big shout out to my childhood favourite. It used to be Pizzini in Hollywood. Then, unfortunately, it went under new ownership, and I haven't tried the pizza since, so it still could be as good. But, the original owners of Pizzini were they made the best the Mexican pizza. Pizzini was unbeatable. But unfortunately, it's new. I've not had anything from the new Pizzini menu. I've looked at the menu before, and there's no Mexican on it, so I feel like I just can't be loyal to there. But Manna Pizza in Bangor is unbelievable. It is so good. It's like a nice artisan pizza. It's very, it's wood. It's just beautiful. Like I get a surf and turf pizza, which on paper sounds gross, but it's the nicest beef you can get, and it's got yummy, delicious prawns on it too. Tremendous. And another thing, Manna Pizza do as well, which is fantastic. They do baked camembert, which I mean, where else would you get it? So yeah, big shout out to Manna Pizza. If you can get me a surf and turf in Giuseppe's, listen, I'm all for it. But Manna Pizza, yeah, it is the hot spot. I'm a big fan of Manna Pizza. Dom also said he always enjoys it when Jordan's on the pod, and I feel like myself and Jordan have great chemistry. Two very funny, very sexy guys. But Davey, what's Jordan's sexiest feature, and Jordan, what's Davey's sexiest feature? This is a bit unfortunate now because Jordan's not here to tell me what my sexiest feature is, but I'm here and I can tell you Jordan's sexiest feature. See, today, I liked actually. Jordan's got a good head of hair on him. That's a good sexy feature. One that I'm jealous of as a man who's losing his hair. But Jordan's got good head of hair on him, and also he looked very smart today. He was nicely presented. He was going to do a wee bit of work here on a film that I auditioned for and didn't hear back from. So I hope it's terrible. No, only joking. But yeah, that's a nice question. Couple of sexy, funny guys. And speaking of sexy, funny guys, I'm going to go now and get on with sexy, funny day. I don't even know what time of the day it is right enough. There we go. It's 11:30. The day is my own until 2 o'clock, and I have to go and collect the children from school and then entertain them until their mother comes, and then go and do a gig. Yes, life is like but a box of chocolates. What a stupid bastard. Maybe that's why I didn't get the role that I auditioned for, because I can't say lines correctly. Thanks very much for listening to the podcast. Again, if you listen and enjoy it, share it in your stories, tag me, put it out wherever you listen. I appreciate it. Comment on the video on YouTube. Rate and review, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and above all else, be good to yourselves, guys. Enjoy your weeks. Thanks for listening to Sly Guy Podcast. I can't speak. Have I been drinking, or am I having a stroke? Who knows? Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Peace.
I'm the Sly Guy.